Hello everybody, welcome to another Horror Franchise Wednesday. Today we are looking at New Nightmare. It came out in 1994 and was written and directed by Wes Craven and stars Wes Craven, Robert Shea, Robert Englund, Heather Langenkamp, and John Saxon. This is a mid-90s horror movie. This movie is about the 10-year anniversary of the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and this movie is the start of the meta horror in the 90s. This movie came out right before Scream, and this was like the pre-Scream craze. Everyone wasn't too crazy about this movie, but then when Scream came out, everybody loved it. But this is like the start of meta horror, because this movie is about a movie within like a movie. It's very confusing to some people, but I will do my best to explain it, because it's even confusing to me a little bit. This movie opens up with like a new Nightmare movie being filmed. It kind of reminds me of See a Chucky, except this movie did it first. And people, I shouldn't compare this movie to See a Chucky. Everybody hates that fucking movie. It's alright, but yeah, it's terrible. But this movie starts with Freddy, he's making a new claw, and then all of a sudden the claw comes to life and it kills a couple of people who are special effects workers, and then we find out it's all just a dream. But we also get the original Nightmare on Elm Street score in the beginning of this movie, and it just sets the tone. You're like, oh, they're bringing it back. They also bring back the Nancy house in this movie, and as the movie's going along, you find out that everything that's happening is actually a script. So it's like Scream 3, when they're like reading the script and everything's happening. And then like Heather Langenkamp, she gets like that gray or white strand of hair like she did in the first movie, because that was a weird fashion trend back then. So it's just like slowly but surely she's becoming Nancy, and her father who's not really her father, is like becoming her father. He keeps calling her Nancy, and she's like, why are you calling me Nancy? A lot of people don't like this one because of its meta-ness, like it's meta, and it doesn't have the real Freddy. It's not really Freddy. This movie is about an entity, some demon, who takes the form of Freddy, and Wes Craven says that it's only able to do it because the story of Freddy is officially dead. Like, the franchise is dead. Freddy's a joke now. It's over. So now this thing's able to take the life form of Freddy and kill. I do have some questions. It's like, if this whole movie's a script and Wes Craven's writing it, why doesn't he just write that Freddy dies like immediately in his little script? Is he being forced to write this? No. Like he says he has nightmares and he wakes up and he just writes it down and there. So it's like, can you blame him for Heather Langenkamp's husband's death? I think you can, because he wrote it down that he was gonna get killed by Freddy, so it's his fault, isn't it? Just weird things like that. Like, I have questions. This movie's kind of confusing. Now, Heather Langenkamp in this movie, she is a step up in her acting. Like, she's better playing herself, which is easy, I guess, but she does it good in this movie. I mean, they do accurately capture her life. Like, a lot of things that are in this movie actually happen to her. Like, she does have a son, and apparently she is married to a special effects person. And apparently she did have, like, a stalker who was calling her a bunch because she was on the show that got canceled. I forget what it's called, but it got canceled, so she was getting, like, calls and threats, I guess. So they took that aspect of her life and made it Freddy calling her. But, yeah. She also has this, like, son named Dillon, and he's, like, saying all these things in, like, this demon voice, like, Freddy voice, and it's just kind of corny. I don't know why they didn't just actually, like, make his voice demonic. I don't know. I thought it was kind of corny. They keep having these earthquakes, and it's like, she says, like, there's been 5 in 3 weeks. I'm not sure what the earthquakes have to do with the point of this movie, if I missed it. But if you have 5 earthquakes in 3 weeks, why won't you just move? Like, I would get the fuck out of there. I don't know what she's doing there. We get Robert Shea and Wes Craven, like I said. They have a cameo in this movie, talking about how they want to bring back the franchise. We're like, we want you, Nancy, for one more movie, because the fans want you. I don't. I'm just saying, I'm not a fan of this franchise. Hansel and Gretel. We get a Hansel and Gretel foreshadow. Like, she's reading to her son Dillon about Hansel and Gretel, and it comes into play later. I like when a movie can do that. They just say something, you don't think it means much, but then later on you're like, oh, that's why that was brought up. They kill Freddy in this movie like Hansel and Gretel, like the witch. Push him in the oven. I thought that was kind of neat how they did that. Overall, I just really like the cameos. Like, you get, like, the guy gets hanged in the prison at the funeral for her husband. You get, like, is it John Saxon? I can't remember the actor's name, but he plays the sheriff, Nancy's dad. You get him, you get, I don't think you get Johnny Depp, but you get the guy who got hung. You get a couple of cameos from the first movie. I like that. Oh, you get Lynn Shay, too. Lynn Shay's in this movie. She was the teacher in the first one. Now she's playing a nurse. She's not playing herself. She's playing a character again. Like we wouldn't notice her. Come on. Why wasn't she just playing herself? We get, like, dreams within dreams. I hate when that happens in movies. It's kind of confusing. You don't know what's real anymore if it's a dream within a dream. But yeah, the whole movie's a script. It's very confusing. But I like it. It's good. You got the kid who climbs the world's most dangerous fucking playground equipment. He just climbs out of this rocket ship. He gets on top. He's reaching for God because his dad's dead. He thinks he can reach God and see his dad. But that was in the script, right? That's when we find out that everything that's happening is the script. It's like right after that. And Robert Englund's in this movie. He's painting a darker version of Freddy. I like how Robert Englund is in this movie. He has like Elton John glasses or some shit. I don't know. He looks weird in this movie. I like how this movie just it's dark. This movie is just a fresh change of like just tone, atmosphere. It's way different than the past couple of movies, and I love it because it was. I've been going through this franchise, not a fan. I will keep saying that just to remind you that I did not grow up loving this series. I probably went through it once or twice, never went back. But now I'm doing this. Now I gotta say, this is way better. It's probably my top 3 or 4 so far out of the 9. There's 9 of these fuckers to go through. But yeah, I just like how like this movie's serious. There's nothing that like there's no joke in this movie where it's just like, oh, why is that in there? This movie, I don't think this movie has any comedic lines, but it's very serious. I love the relationship between Nancy and her son. She's trying to protect her son. Now the dad's out of the picture. This movie's pretty good. I don't know why people don't like it as much. It's always like at the bottom of people's list because Freddy's not really Freddy in the movie. Well, Freddy's not really Freddy, and Freddy's dead. Technically, he's a fucking joke. Whatever. I like how they bring a couple of gags back from the first movie. Everything is like tied back to the first movie because I don't think Wes Craven wanted to acknowledge the other ones. But technically he did in this movie. He acknowledged all of them. But the couple of gags they bring back is like the marshmallow steps, like the steps that like sink in, and the hand coming out of bed, or like Freddy coming out of bed. You got a couple of things that are throwbacks just to appease the fans, make you go, oh, I remember that. If you're like that, I don't know, not me. And talk about a horrible stitch job. Dillon, his T-Rex gets clawed up, and she stitches it up with like red yarn or some shit. It's like, that, it was the worst stitch job ever. She needs to do better. Oh, they also bring back the Tina death in this movie with Julie. And the original idea behind Julie, the babysitter, was that she was going to be possessed by Freddy the entire movie. So basically just be Freddy walking around. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would have worked. Would have been interesting, but they scrapped that idea. And apparently this whole movie was the original idea for Part 3, Dream Warriors, because Wes Craven wrote part of that, and then they like rewrote 70% of it. They've been screwing Wes Craven a lot, and this movie was basically to say, you know, we're sorry, you can make another movie, do whatever you want, because he didn't get any profits for like all those movies before. The first one he did, but the other ones where they just kind of like retconned the first one and made up their own rules that I kept saying was annoying as fuck, because they kept breaking the rules. He wasn't getting any compensation. Wes Craven was getting paid because New Line Cinema owned Freddy. But I think this was like, you know, like a gift. Like, oh, we're sorry. Now you can make your own movie. We won't rewrite it for you. I love when Julie punches that nurse because those nurses are evil as fuck. They want to put Dillon under for some reason that's unexplained. It's like, we gotta put him to sleep. Why? Oh, we just gotta put him to sleep because the movie said so. And then Julie, she's very passionate. She's like, well, the mother said no. And they're like, well, too fucking bad. And then the other nurse already had a needle and sticks Dillon. So it's like, well, what was the point of the other nurse filling up a syringe? But then she just fucking clocks her right in the face, locks him out. I love that scene. But then she gets killed, so it actually makes it sad. I like that you actually care a little bit about these characters before they go. I like when a movie can do that because I hate just like wanting characters to die. It's like, at least try to make me care. This movie does a good job. There's a scene where they're on the freeway and Heather, she's chasing her son Dillon. Is that his name? I hope I'm not saying it wrong. Like a different name completely. Dillon, I think it's Dillon. He's chasing him across the freeway, and no car hits them except for Heather finally, after like 4 dozen cars drives by, and finally traffic stops. It's like after a couple of cars, they would have all eventually stopped at some point sooner rather than later. It was just crazy. And nobody seems to bat an eye when there's a kid floating in the sky. I don't know. No one's saying anything. Another thing I noticed is that the house in the Nancy's house is blue again. You know, because in the first one it was blue and then it was like red for some reason in all the other ones. And now it's blue again. So I like that they went back to the original. Like I said, this movie, I think, wants to retcon all the other ones. But it, like I said, technically it doesn't. So, but yeah. And then she stabs him in the dick. She stabs Freddy. Heather Langenkamp stabs Freddy, or quote unquote Freddy, in the dick. I swear, like there's a shot where it's like you don't see it, but where she came from when she releases the knife, I think she stabbed Freddy in the dick because he was trying to get her son. And that is a no-no. Mama Bear ain't gonna let you touch her. Or him, whatever. I keep calling Dillon her. Doesn't fucking matter. Does it? I don't think it does. And then once she kills Freddy, like the true form comes out. Like he's like revealing his demon self, and then he just like melts and turns it. But, you know, they kind of like establish for one scene, like towards in the third act, Freddy teleports. Does he not? Like he's chasing Dillon, and he's right here, and then he's immediately over here. Why didn't he just teleport out of the oven? He just let himself get cooked. I thought that was weird. You should never... That's writing yourself in the corner. You should never give an antagonist the power to teleport, like in the Leprechaun movies, because then you're just stuck wondering why are they not teleporting anymore, like when it's necessary. So, does he teleport in this movie, or did I just see something? Let me know. Gotcha! Ha! But yeah, overall, I did enjoy this movie. It wasn't a bloodfest. It was more serious. This is a very serious tone. It's meta. It was just probably why a lot of people don't like it. It's confusing. I like that it makes you think, because I have questions still, but like it's just all a script. I don't think she like woke up one day in a whole new life and was like, oh, now I have a son and a husband, and it's just a script. She didn't know she was living her life through a script. It's kind of confusing. I don't know. It's weird. It's confusing as fuck. But I still enjoyed it. So therefore, when it comes to New Nightmare, I suggest that you go out and buy it. The Mr. Hat Award is going to go to Julie. She gets the Tina death from the first movie. It's a rip-off of that movie, but there's really not much to choose from this movie, and I just liked the way they did it. It was pretty interesting, and I liked it. The Mr. Twig Award will go to the special effects guy who gets diddled by the little glove. It's like tap dancing on his chest and blood spraying everywhere. It's kind of weird, kind of lame. Yeah. This movie was such a great change of pace from the other movies. It was great to finally get away from a lot of corniness. Freddy looks a lot more menacing in this movie. He's a lot more burnt. He has like a trench coat. He looks like a investigator from the 50s. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this movie. Is this one of your favorite sequels of the Freddy franchise? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you want to support this channel, you can do so by clicking this like button over here and by subscribing by clicking on my beautiful cartoon face in 5 seconds to see more. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.